Welcome to Doopeys Garage. I've mainly made this channel for documenting my Hilux patrol build. So I'm putting a RN110 extra cab body, which is like a 1990 model Hilux, onto a GQ chassis, and I'm going down the path of getting it engineered. So I want to have footage documentation of everything, so if the engineer comes back to me and asks for how'd you do this or how'd you do that before you cap something off, or how was it beforehand, I'll have hopefully, you know, a video showing it that I can clip a photo out for him, just for confirmation. So I thought if I'm going to go to that sort of extreme with documentation, that I might as well, you know, sort of film it in a way that I can put it on YouTube for people to watch. One, because I'm already filming it, and two, hopefully, you know, someone might find it interesting. I want to do the same thing and saw how I found solutions to problems. So just a bit of background on me. I've been playing around with four-wheel drives for a while, mainly Hiluxes with leaf springs. I had a old LM106 dual cab that I put GU diffs under and was running that for a couple of years, sorry, and ended up getting defected, which hence why now I want to get this engineered. This build didn't start out with the thought process of getting it engineered. So originally I was going to keep a leaf setup and put this extra cab onto a LM106 chassis, and I got all the chassis work done. I moved the original fuel tank to further back and higher up, and I added another one, inversion bar, French front hangers with longer leaves, you know, just everything you could possibly do in terms of a leaf setup to make it, you know, work ideal but still get lots of travel. And I got halfway through it, and the original intention was to just try and get it dodgily on the road, you know, a bit of bog will hide this and hide that. But as it went more and more and more, it was pretty evident that no matter what I sort of did, it was gonna not look right. So after talking to my roadworthy guy, he pushed me to start talking to engineers. So spoke to a couple to get a couple of different opinions, and basically the engineer that I ended up going with it said that I might as well throw it in the bin and start again, just because not necessarily what had been done to it was not engineerable, but the way that it was welded out and parts were installed didn't follow the VSB guidelines. So and to what the engineer wanted for him to be able to sign it off. So we had a conversation and basically came to the conclusion that it would be cheaper, easier, and I would get more performance if I was to do a body swap. So we're going to put the Hilux body onto a GQ chassis. Technically this chassis is actually a Ford Maverick chassis, but same. Didn't know that until after I picked it up. So I'm a Holden guy, so it cuts me to have a bit of a Ford in there. But anyway, so we're going to have that. In terms of diffs, I'm going to be running the GU diffs. They're basically a bolt-in upgrade, and for you that don't know, the Patrol in a GQ, the CV is much the same size as a Hilux. So yes, I'm gaining coils, but I'm not gaining any strength from the CV end, and that's usually where you're going to get your first breakage until you start putting sort of your chromoly shit in, and then you start doing diff gears and that sort of thing. But regardless, so, and plus I've got a set of GU diffs sitting here, so we'll put them in, thinking about it running about a 4.8 for off-road. We're also going to run, originally I've got sitting here a dual transfer case setup for a Hilux with an R-Series box, because at the time I started this build, I did know that you could get a Patrol box into an adapter to mate it to the 2.83L, which I'm still going to run in the GQ chassis. But yeah, as far as I knew at the time, to get easily in Australia without even like looking. Like I looked in America, but there wasn't really anything, and you could maybe get something from one of the European countries, but whether you get your actual product shop or not is a different story. But yeah, Toyota was the only stuff that had dual cases at the time, so I wanted to run that. But then as of Christmas 2025, currently it's the 4th, I think, of 2026. Mark started producing the dual transfer cases for patrols again. So I've got to call them and chat to them before I lock that in, but I'm going to go down that path, run stronger transfer cases and gearbox for sure. I'm not going to be blowing anything with the 2.8. The idea behind that is, yes, I'm doing an engineer build, and a lot of people are going to say, why don't you just do it while you're there? Well, one, I've already got the engine. Two, I don't have to change any of the wiring or any of that bullshit, except for maybe down the tray end. But it's just to keep the budget down. I'm planning on going a 4JJ1 later on, but again, I don't want to do that right now. One, because for me, it will be stepping into another area of stuff that I haven't learned yet, which I'm happy to learn. I just don't want to do it yet. I want to get the car on the road with a 2.8, drive it for a few years, and then maybe when budget allows, we'll come back to it and change it out. So we're going to be running, so GU diffs, Patrol, gearbox and twin transfer cases with the 2.83L out of a LM106. I'm going to run a turbo and a 12mm pump on it. Not that I want to, I'm not shooting for like 200 horsepower or big horsepower numbers or anything like that. I just want a bit more up and go on the road, just to make it a bit more drivable around town, because this car will still be my daily. As this is sort of just into the new year, I sent an email off to my engineer just before Christmas. They closed up a little bit early for some confirmations on parts that I want to use. I've already got approval to run rear long arms. I want to run a 5-link front, and I want to, in the rear, get the shock brackets up and out of the way, and I want to raise the fuel tank. That's all using basically PSR stuff and a little bit of Kinsella stuff. I don't want to reinvent the wheel, so we're just going to use what's available, but I also want to strengthen all the sections of the chassis that PSR have, because it's all 350 mpg rated steel, which is, my engineers asked for 250, but going 350 we shouldn't have a problem in 4mm, and it fixes all the common crack points and stress points on a patrol chassis. So chassis bracing throughout. I've got to make new mounts to mount it up, obviously, which I've been playing around with. I've got to take into consideration a lot of stuff, where the wheel lands in the wheel well. I've pushed it back a little bit, because it means that when I'm on private property and running bigger tyres, that I'm away from the firewall and body mount of the body. So yeah, I've actually made some of them up. These are sort of it now. I've still got to fold them. They're a 3-piece design, so this is, imagine your top piece, and these fold down, and then this isn't for this one, but this will then go in here and on an angle and flare up. That'll get welded together, and then I have a chassis plate to go on. So I'm waiting for the machine shop to open up to go buy a tool to be able to do that. So as of tomorrow, I'll probably be able to start filming a little bit more on it. I'll probably have some shots in the background of the car and what I've done so far, but basically I've just got the body sitting on the chassis on blocks at the rough height, within a couple of mil, and left to right, front to back, couple of mil of where it's going to sit. Again, I've been back and forth with the engineer about the designs of the body mount. So I think I haven't got confirmation for the ones that I've got cut out, but I have a feeling he'll be fine with them. Obviously, I have a feeling that when I get them on there, I'm going to have to do alterations anyway, because I did a lot of this stuff in CAD. So which is sort of my first time doing a folded part in CAD. So I dare say I fucked something up, but we'll soon find that out. I'm planning on running the Patrol rubber body mounts, because I have the ones that came off the Toyota, which the Toyota is actually newer than the Patrol, the Maverick chassis, and they were long, well rooted more than the Patrol ones. The Patrol ones, like I bought new ones, I'm going to put new ones in, but they look like the exact same. Like obviously they're a bit crummy, a bit dirty and stuff, but they haven't collapsed or haven't worn out in any sort of way. So look, the chassis might have not done many Ks. Obviously I don't have a dash cluster to look at it, but I dare say that it's done similar to what the Hilux have done. And the body mounts, they're just bigger, and so I'm just going to run them. They can work on the body of the Hilux, so there's no reason not to. So yeah, if you want to follow along and see how I do things, and I'm welcome to take some criticism. Obviously, you know, 90% of stuff's going to have to be run through the engineer, but if you've done something similar and you know you want to give some advice, I'm more than happy to take it. This won't be a regular upload sort of thing. It'll just be when I've got what I think can correlate into sort of a 15-20 minute video or thereabouts, something like that, that you know, isn't just boring nonsense of blabbering on like I am now. It'll actually be showing you what I'm doing. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully catch you in the next one.